Oh, this episode of Cinema Swirl is brought to you with the support of our wonderful backers over at patreon.com/Cinema Swirl. $5 OTP backers get instant access to every episode of our monthly exclusive bonus show, Cinema Swirl, where Kevin and I review bad movies. And in our most recent episode, we've taken a look at the latest installment in the American Pie Presents franchise. That's right, we've watched Girls' Rules. Girls' Rules is American Pie Presents Girls' Rules. And if you want to know what that's all about, well, head on over to patreon.com/Cinema Swirl, and two bloody blokes are going to tell you all about it. Plus, there's a bunch of previous episodes where we've reviewed bad movies. It's a fun time. If you want to find out more, you know that address, patreon.com/Cinema Swirl. Alright, let's get swirling.
Cinema Swirl! Gun, boo, crime! It's episode number 129, coming to you from the Serious Political Forum of Hollywood, California, where me, your old pal Captain Kevin, show my OTP Sam another movie he's scandalously not seen. How you doing, Sam?
I'm good, thank you. Can we clarify, it's a gun? Boo. And in fact, crime. Like that. This is an anti-gun rhyme. Yeah?
Is it? Is it?
You'll never tell.
Or are people thinking that the guns are the only way to stop the boo crime? You know, and
right,
boo crime
yeah.
is on the upside. I don't live in an area with a lot of boo crime, so what am I to say? My sheltered existence may not be true for others.
There are a lot of blue collar criminals out there.
And I support our boys in boo, right? I support them. Sam, there's a thin boo line, right? That's run down this country, yeah? So I don't know why I became very Irish there when I was talking about that.
When you say boo crime, I'm picturing ghosts being naughty.
Yeah.
You can't shoot a ghost. You can't shoot a ghost.
They're literally above the law. You notice they float off the ground. That's where all of our laws meet realities, on the cold, hard floor there. And boo crime it could also be like, you know, I don't know, around Manchester they get really rowdy when they play certain musicals and people are like, and they're like, please, I know you really want the performer, very good playing Marty McFly, to know that you know the correct wattage and mileage, but please sit down and stop threatening members of staff. And that's why we're doing a musical episode today, folks.
Yes.
In honor of that.
Yes, we are doing, well, it was one of those ones, and this happens a lot, where you clock that I haven't.
Pulling a thread!
I haven't seen a thing, it comes out, we pull the thread, and we see what emerges. And in this case, I think this was from a swell, it emerged that I hadn't seen High School Musical, any of them. I haven't seen High School Musical.
For the person back there who's like, High School Musical, why are they doing that? Don't blame us. Who are we to know that by scratching on the door of American Pie Presents Girl Rules, that behind it would be staring back at the 2006 classic High School Musical, which I'm sure a lot of you sit at home, much like Twilight, want to be like, no, that didn't... You're like your dad thinking the internet was going to be a phase. It's culture now. We just build around it and move on, all right? It's like a fault with the house, okay? We just build around it and move on.
It's High School Musical's world, and we're just living in it, and that's the reality you're going to have to accept.
And Sam, I believe you are a bona fide, whether you like it or not, member of the High School Musical generation.
Am I? Yeah, I think I probably am. Yeah.
You would have been in there now, wouldn't you?
I would have been
high school.
I think sort of 15 when that came out. Which really, when you sort of watch high school things when you're younger than high school age, I think.
And all the people in those are usually in their 30s or 40s. So
yeah,
they always seem a lot older, you know?
I was there somewhere.
Yeah, they're always a lot
old.
Like twice, 3 times the age often.
But, I was aware of it, that it was a phenomenon. Mostly through seeing the fucking posters and them all like, doing their little like...
Sorry, do you know what? Sam, I don't want us to be using the visual format as a crutch.
Sorry.
Use your
Okay.
words.
Okay. For listeners, I'm going to say
YouTube is the death of diction. I've said it many times. Great platform. Happy to be here. Go on. Yeah.
Happy to be here. If you're on the Spotify, you can see the thing that I did. You can switch seamlessly between. Right.
Every time you tell people to change to Spotify, I want to have a horrifying face if they do. It's like looking right back at them.
It's a fucking prank, bro. So.
Oh, you dude! You turned to.
Okay, this has not helped the listeners.
No, they swap back. Why do they do that?
Right, listeners, what I meant was, I'm going to say it, a jaunty jump. They're all doing a jaunty jump. They're like, hey, you know, their legs are kicking or their arms are about.
Are they mid-air? Are they hovering?
Mid-air, a photo that has clearly been, you know, stitched together from multiple mid-air attempts. I don't think anyone in human history has done let's all jump in the air and take a photo, and it's worked for everyone. But in this case,
Sam.
it has.
You and I, let's be honest, you and I are usually the taller members in any given group that would be taking such a picture. And I don't know if you're like myself, using the tall man's privilege of knowing that in advance, just tilting upwards, knowing you've got a buffer of 2 or 3 people who are trying their hardest and just can't do it to protect you. No one knows that you've just went like that, you know. Yeah. I'm often just doing that. I don't think I've ever actually jumped off the ground once in my entire life.
I've done that at gigs, you know, when everyone's jumping up and down, I'm just sort of like pivoting between tiptoes and not, like just kind of angling.
Showing off them ACLs of yours. Very good, yeah. Whoa.
High School Musical. I mean, the clue's in the title, I suppose, in terms of what I think this is.
What do you think this is, Sam?
Look, a musical about high school, but is there a... Right?
That's got to be it. I mean, he got it, didn't he? He got it. Like, you know, I can't do much with that kind of. He got us. Yeah, you got us. You figured out the plot of the movie. You're very.
Cheers, guys. Good night.
Cheers.
Well, what we learned from over on Patreon, American Pie Presents Girls' Rules is that usually the culmination is a prom. So,
okay,
I'm guessing these are kids in high school. There's some romance. There's proms coming up. Someone's going to not get asked to prom or ask someone to prom. And I don't know if they're all like... I don't know if this is like Glee. So I maybe get this in my head mixed up with Glee, which I also haven't seen.
Yeah.
I don't know if these are theatre kids. Theatre.
No, theatre, they broke up, I think, in the 2010s.
They're still going and they're still good. As live performers of their old material.
Fucking musicians rest on their laurels. You think we could come out here and just review any old shite we did years ago?
Yeah.
No.
We did that for the 10th anniversary.
Once! Not our bread and butter, as a treat.
We came out and we're like...
If any guy from Feeder didn't get to fucking play that song at least once a week, they'd probably die. I went years without reviewing The Big Lebowski. How do you think I feel?
So, I don't know if it's linked to something like Glee and these are like musical theatre kids and they're putting on a musical.
They could be putting on a show,
at high school. It's not a musical about high school.
Oh, it's a self-contained musical within the high school. Okay.
It's a play within a movie type thing going on, but I don't know if it's that. I don't know if they're actually putting on a musical.
Check out Wes Anderson over here now.
Yes. But other than that, I don't know. I know one person who's in it.
Who's that?
Zac Efron.
From?
His brother was on Traitors US Season 3.
Starring?
Famous for being Zac Efron's brother.
Starring?
Alan Cumming.
Very
Nikki
good.
Bella.
Oh, double points. Points.
Tom Sandoval. The list could go on.
Is that the only point of reference you have for Zac Efron? How have I got more points of reference for Zac Efron than you?
He's handsome. He's one of the kind of hot guys, especially of that era and beyond.
I guess.
You know, you're in the top. You know, you're up there, but you know.
That's why I've got cool young person hair today for the special, because people will be thinking about top punks like Zac Efron. So that's why last night I accidentally fell asleep wearing my headband, and it looks like this now.
And listeners, if you switch over to Spotify now, you'll see that.
No. Do a nice face now. Give him a smile now. There.
Okay,
Hey,
and switch over now.
Oh, Sam, man.
It's a prank, bro.
Have you seen Zac Efron in any movie?
I almost was like, oh no, he was in Hateful Eight, but that was Channing Tatum. So I don't think.
All this all hunks look-alike discourse.
I'm sorry. I don't think I've seen him in anything. He was out and about. He was, Did
you see The Iron Claw when that came out?
No.
About the wrestling Von Erichs?
No. Is he in that?
Ooh, people anticipating a depressing follow-up to our notable downer of an episode about the wrestler from many years ago.
Oh, it's a shame we talked about the wrestler before Mickey Rourke's appearance on Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. He did all. That's a bad place, isn't it?
Celebrity Big Brother?
Yeah, because bad people seem to go to it. So
yes.
It doesn't matter that you keep asking them to leave. Why do you invite them?
Yes. Have I? I don't think I've seen him in anything else. I might have done. He's one of those ones who I'll have seen on the Graham Norton show or something, being surprisingly charming. But I don't know if I've seen him in any movies or telly.
Do you know, kind of in this movie, is he bit player, feature boy?
Oh, main guy, surely.
Claim to fame, or is this guy knocking stuff out? Where's this sit in the Zac Efron story, as far as you know?
Ah, right. So I wonder if this is his breakout moment, and he might not be the featured player here. He might be a star might be born tonight here on Cinema Swirl.
Sam, are these gonna be the cool kids? Are they going to be the fuck-ups and the freaks? Are they going to be Bandcamp kids, as we're alluded to in American Pie? Or we got, just the fucking, the studs, all the alphas of the high school, all come to have the greatest musical ever? Where's our narrative here? Because do you know, who made this? What studio / I guess genre we're falling into outside of musical?
Disney. This is a Disney thing.
And you can't complain, we don't want to do High School Musical. You weren't complaining when we were doing the Robin Hood with all the sexy animals, were you? You weren't complaining then, were you? With all your favourite fucking snake or whatever, yeah? So, come on now, on board. It's Disney, so does that inform what type of kids you're going to see in the movie?
I think we're seeing the broad spectrum of high school, I reckon. Not to a sort of I was going to say American Pie is not really a broad spectrum of high school, but No,
it's a broad spectrum of desperate virgins in high school, and one, pretty much unchanged, it seems, as it pertains to American Pie Presents Girls' Rules.
But I think there's obviously less sex chat. None of that. That will be...
That's not going to be here, is it?
No. And I don't know how old these characters are meant to be or really what's going on. But
given the title High School Musical, you sincerely hope they're of a particular age.
But I don't really know when high school is in America.
Depends if you won the Heisman Trophy that year. You know what I'm saying? We had this in our school, right?
Yeah.
And in other schools around the area, this was a known practice of boys repeating a year just so they get another crack at whatever provincial school's sports title that meant the world to them, whatever it was. And it's we had guys 19 or 20 fucking retaking their A-levels. Well, playing 16-year-olds on a football field. What the fuck's going on there? They were even making Disney movies.
Universities have that with the Chortle Student Comedy Award.
No, Sam, lapsed PhD candidates are just as actually allowable to do the student contest as everyone else.
A bunch of 19-year-olds, then one 35-year-old bloke is I still qualify technically, guys. I've been doing this for 10 years, but here I am. That's not relevant to this.
What are your predicted subgenres of high schooler in this musical? What types are we going to get?
There's going to be jocks. There's going to be theatre kids. There's going to be popularity and the tribulations therein are going to be explored. So you might get someone who
nerds, there might be nerds.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to go as far as like the nerdy girl who's got glasses and then she takes off the glasses and everyone's like, whoa, you know. I don't know if we're still at that point in this stage. For listeners, Kevin just took off his glasses and my God, he's stunning.
Thank you. Look out, Mr. Efron. Look out.
You climbed up the ranks of the hottest
I'll
guy.
be on the next Jeff Bezos rocket, not you, Zac Efron.
Was he on the rocket?
No, but he would be, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about world-class championship wrestling with Jeff Bezos, not you.
So, I don't know, other than it's high school and it's musical and there's high schoolers and there's Zac Efron.
Are you expecting bops? You love music, isn't it? And I know I've been hard on Sam and the music and all that, but I figured this is his special type of thing that he likes.
Music.
So let Sam cook as far as I'm concerned, you know?
Let me listen to some music, please.
There'll be at least 10 tracks, I can guarantee you, in this. At least 10 tracks. How many of them do you think will be like, oh, yeah? Because you're not a snob.
No, I'm not a snob.
Be like, come on, you're going to be open to this, right?
I've said this 1,000 times. If a banger's a banger, it's a banger.
Yeah, say what you will about Grease 2. Cool Rider, it's in the rotation
Fucking
forever.
Banger. Yes.
Come on.
I would imagine, if we say there's 10 songs in here, they're mostly going to wash over me, but there'll be one or two where I'm like, actually, fucking hell, that's some good stuff. I can see why this resonated at the time.
So we now know the level is 3 audible laughs, but 2 memorable songs. That's
2 like actually good songs in a musical is pretty impressive, I'd say.
Well, Sam, I'll happen to have you know Les Mis has at least double that figure. At least double that figure.
I don't know if this is... Oh, it's not an opera, so they're not always going to be singing. It's not that. It's not High School Opera.
I mean, opera doesn't mean like you have to be singing for every... I mean, like, you know...
No, it does, doesn't it? I thought that was the distinction. That like opera is everything is sung, and I think musical is you get little bits that are like a play.
Does that make it opera or operatic? Operatic. Or operational?
I don't think this is any of those. I think this is they chat,
the firepower
they
of this fully operational high school musical.
But I'm very...
Oh, your friends will be quite old by the time they go to high school.
Very curious about High School Musical because it was a big thing at the time. I know this. I saw this happen.
I didn't think much of this. Then I did teacher training for a year where every single would-be English teacher had a High School Musical folder and they listened to it like, not, you know, that was like realizing there was an extra level of Disney Channel kids. That this is a Disney Channel movie as well, I should say. That is not, now, we are breaking the rules a little bit here with that, Sam, you know? But I feel like in order to save cinema, we have to give it a bit of leeway, you know? You don't want us to ruin the cinema experience by talking about just movies from the cinema, right? Go to the cinema. Well, listen to us talk about a Disney Channel movie.
Some of them have been released in the cinemas, right?
That's true. And to get that, we're not starting on 3. All right, it's not. When I heard that 1 was a home only, and then 2 was also, I was like, okay, we can skip 1. We can't skip 2. So we're gonna do them all now. All right?
Yeah.
So when you were growing up in the culture where this was released, like, what was the people around you hate it? Was there any notable fans of it? Or was it something that kind of whizzed by? It was on a lot of shit in Primark, I remember that much.
Yeah, I think I might have been either too old or too cynical to get involved with it. I'm like, that's lame, I'm listening to Weezer over here. Like, you know, that sort of thing. When really, actually, Weezer is far less cool than High School Musical. But
yes, Sam, because you don't hang out with people who are sending warrants for attempted murder.
Yeah, at time of record, we've recently found out about the Weezer bassist's wife pointing a gun and then getting shot at by cop. Look, just Google Weezer bass player wife cop gun.
Attempted murder, because I always thought Weezer was like, you know, was it? Attempted Music.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah. They should have been done for Attempted Murder for that cover of Africa by Toto, am I right? That's actually quite a faithful cover.
Yeah.
It's just pretty straightforward.
That was almost like
yeah. Go on.
Attempted Music. No, fuck shit. No, like an attempted album. Fuck. Damn it. Oh, that's us off on a bad note now for the episode. Damn it.
No, look, okay, I'm excited for High School Musical. I'm curious. I don't really know what it is.
I think you're about to learn a fucking lesson about your so-called taste in so-called music. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of taste and pop, before we get into the mailbag, which we'll get into, I just want to hit the music.
Stop. He's got to stop like Pepsi wall in the mailbag. Like, I just want my mail.
Welcome.
Some of these look overdue.
Welcome to Pepsi Swirl. It's Pepsi Swirl. Kevin, Pepsi have recently released some new flavours. We have got strawberries and cream flavour.
Oh, I imagine that's sweet.
And we've got this cream soda flavour. This lovely,
similar, like that's kind of like a sweet and Pepsi flavour almost.
No, I'm just gonna hurtle through this because I've got some things to say. So here we go. This is the cream soda flavour here.
He has another can on the go. Okay.
That
he has another. Like, there's a default can,
and there's the bottles. That tastes a bit like cream soda.
Like if you got new armor in Skyrim, you'd unequip the old one first, right? This guy's he's just stacking them up like.
We're now going in for the strawberries and cream. Let's try that one. Oh.
You know, it was very funny. Before we recorded, Sam was like, I'm a bit froggy. I'm worried that I'm going to start coughing a bit on the recording. And I'm like, well, at least you're not burping. And here he is now with 3 different containers of carbonated beverages that he is, might add, tasting at a great deal of expediency. Which is, you got windy pops, admit it.
Look, strawberries and cream. Fine, tastes like strawberries and cream and Pepsi. 3 glugs. Cream soda tastes like cream soda and Pepsi.
Wait,
3
what?
glugs.
Cream soda is just sweet.
That's just vanilla Pepsi. But, right, what I want to get into now is, this is Pepsi Swirl and Sam's Conspiracy Corner.
Oh, Conspiracy Corner, I see.
For listeners, I'm showing the bottle to the camera. Now, this is marketed in the United Kingdom as Pepsi with 0 sugar.
Yeah, okay.
Now, Kevin, I don't know if you know, there was a brand name for that, wasn't there? There was a brand name for Pepsi when it has 0 sugar.
I think there was a brand name for Pepsi when it had the maximum amount of sugar. I think
it had the maximum. No, it had the maximum taste.
What was it? Maximum sugar, no mates. That was a pretty sure.
This is not.
I'm just a toothless man sat in a room on his own.
To be clear, and I am conscious. I do now have the windy pops, so I am physically struggling. I've lost control of the room.
Once the speech introduced burps, it was steadily downhill for the right honourable gentleman from Nottingham.
This, everyone at home, is marketed as Pepsi 0 sugar. They are not using the Pepsi Max branding. Now, this has happened in America. In America, there is no Pepsi Max anymore. There is Pepsi 0 sugar. They want Pepsi, just Pepsi, to be Pepsi 0 sugar.
Sorry, are you telling me
Pepsi
that
brand.
They're discontinuing Max?
Well, I think this is the beginning of the end, and I'm worried.
Because, like, Max is being more and more associated with HBO and streaming than it is with your beloved, allegedly sugar-free soda. So maybe that's it, like.
I think we're heading that way. And if we get rid of Pepsi Max as a brand, I'm going to be disappointed. I won't stop drinking it, sure, but it will be a sad end to an era of my life. And that's what I wanted to get out on this edition of Pepsi Swirl.
It's a conspiracy of sadness is what it is, Sam.
Yeah, that was my band in high school, ironically. This was a sort of Trojan horse. Ostensibly, I'm tasting the funny Pepsis, but they're not that interesting as flavors. So,
do you think they're hiding behind the flavors? Like they're like, you're not going to notice this thing is missing because we've bamboozled you with all these different variants of the same thing.
They're sneaking in a brand transition. They're testing the waters, and the waters have got no sugar in them. And I'm not falling for it, man. I can see through what they're doing here. I can see where we're going. We're getting rid of the max. We might even get rid of the concept of hanging out with mates. And if that happens,
well, Sam,
it's game over.
The UK government can tax sugar, but they can't tax taste.
No.
and if they could, they probably would.
Yeah.
What do you want us to eat? Is it Sir Beer Korma? I think I know the order. Let me see if I can recall.
So thank you for indulging me on that edition of Pepsi Swirl.
Oh, that's sad.
It's a sad Pepsi Swirl. I didn't expect it to get as sad as it got. I kind of had the idea and went with it, and it just turned sad.
You can't help that the addition of small successive burps gave the whole thing a tragic air. That wasn't on you. That wasn't something you could anticipate.
I didn't let the listeners hear the burps. But they were present and ready.
But again, once again, the people watching visually were treated to an undignified display from us both as usual.
I'm glad you said from us both. Like we were both involved. Okay, thank you. Right, time for the mailbag.
Yes! Getting rid of mail. Oh, it's just going to be a bag. Brand transition.
We're keeping it as it was. It's the mailbag. Thank you as ever for your questions, queries, comments into cinemaswirl@gmail.com.
That's cinemaswirl@gmail.com. Maximum mail, 0 sugar.
Yes, or the socials, or the Patreon, which you can join as a free member and join the chat where you can add mailbag questions. Our question this time comes in from Will, who writes the following. Now, the subject line I don't normally always read, but
go on then, give it to me. What is this? Come on.
Hot episodes.
Oh,
hot episodes.
Okay,
this is some search engine optimization company who's like, hey guys, you've got some real hot episodes in this.
You've been included in the new top 50 hot episodes of the. And in the top 50 is like top 50 Cinema Swirl episodes. You're in there.
Your episode of Cinema Swirl is in the top 50 Cinema Swirl episodes. But no, that's not what Will is getting at. Will writes, hello chaps. Currently doing a full re-listen of the back catalogue. Thank you, Will, and I would encourage anyone to do the same. And having just gone through a run of summer episodes where it was alluded to your varying levels of undress, it got me thinking.
Oh, that's it now. We had in the United Kingdom now, in the last couple of years, in the last 5 years, there's been at least 2 to 3 periods of, I would say, unprecedented heat, in that it was hotter than, not just it had ever been in the UK, but like among the hottest temperatures I'd ever experienced ever. It was like fucking 35, 36 degrees, and obviously we were in a state of undress.
Yes. Will writes, now you are doing video episodes. Will the episodes during warmer months be moved behind a paywall or onto the Cinema Swirl Clips for Sale account? Brackets, that's cinemaswirl@clipsforsale.com. Do not register that address or try and sell content through it, please, in an attempt to capitalise on the stripping podcasters market. Keep up the good work. Well, it's an interesting point, Will, because I don't know what we're going to do if it gets unbearably hot to the point where ordinarily we would have removed clothing. But I will say, with the video episodes, we are framed from sort of the chest up.
Yeah, we're kind of like funny Disco Elysium portraits. That's usually the space that we occupy at any given time. Like,
yes, so we could, if it gets too hot, adopt a policy. I don't know what the best way to put this is. A kind of hot top, cool bottom situation where we
a tits upward policy is basically what you are alluding to there, Sam.
Yeah, like
because you are essentially right there. You know,
we could be. We're not, but we could be nude from the waist down.
That's true. And look,
at this point,
Here's a point in time I'm going to give you a bit of life advice. Ultimate power play. Oh, I did a year of business studies, and they told me when I shake someone's hand, I should do that to show dominance. Here's dominance. Apply for a job. Do the interview on Zoom.
Yeah.
Get the job without them knowing that you were trouserless during it.
Yes.
Go do the job. Go to the office party. Hell, go to after-works drinks. And then years later, find your line manager and say, you know, I wasn't wearing trousers during that Zoom interview. You own them. You own them.
Now,
mind,
it's not
body, and soul.
It's not a sex thing.
No,
it's a power thing, and it's not a sexual power thing.
No, it's a business. It's a business power.
Yes.
A business power.
Yes. So I don't know, Will, if it will come to that during this summer. We don't know, but I think I can guarantee that during any video recording of Cinema Swirl, or indeed Cinema Swirl, which is behind a paywall, our tops will remain on. That's my promise to you.
But, you know, you can find out, like, what we look like when we're slightly warmer. I will say, I'm in a room where I have a bit of wiggle room in terms of the temperature. A bit of wiggle room,
I am not. I am in a small, boxy room with the sun beating on it.
Yeah.
I'm enclosed in the hot
But
space.
here's the thing, right? So I've got a bit of space I can contend with here. I can make it maybe a little bit warmer, a little bit cooler. Sam knows how to use the color correction on the camera, and so he could probably.
Mate, if you've watched the YouTube videos, you might not agree with that because I look a bit warmer sometimes.
I was gonna say you could maybe
Oh, right.
You might need to overcorrect that or something.
Yeah, I just dial up the blue.
Yeah,
and it will feel like I was cold. Yeah. I don't know what the plan is, but we'll see.
You know, so far, all it means is that there has been a few occasions where I've worn something on my head or something like that. Yeah. You know, or you get to find out what time of year that I'll have a mustache then. How about that? You know.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now that we have the video episodes here on the YouTube with the visual records of the time, another way to track climate change will be how much earlier in the year I turn my beard into a mustache. That used to be a mid to late May. It's honestly, had things not worked out different this afternoon, it would have been early April. There you go. It would have been early April.
Yeah. Look, that data will become useful in a few decades' time when we can start to chart the graphs. But my God, what great data that's going to be.
That's going to be. Someone's going to find that in a post-apocalyptic RPG and feel pretty damn good about themselves. And we're about to feel pretty damn good about ourselves. Yes. Thanks for that fucking lovely email. Thanks for that lovely fucking meal bag of mail. But now, we're going to have we're going to go back in time to a simpler time that never really existed. We're going to go back. We're going to do some High School Musical properly. We're going to do a Cinema Swirl. And we're bop, straight to the top. And more importantly, we're back. Sam, initial gut reaction to High School Musical HSM.
That was a musical set in a high school. Just confirming, that was a musical set in a high school.
It was.
I tried to remember the tune of any of these songs, and I think one was like...
Anywhere you go, all the lads who like their team like me. Yeah, it's all fucking shite music, isn't it? It's all awful. That's it. It's like you can either love it all or you have to hate it all. I choose to love all music at this moment because, Sam, I've had High School Musical in my head all throughout the night and most of the day.
We didn't talk much about what your relationship with this film was in the pre-swirl.
Sam, cast your mind back. It was 2018 or possibly 19. And one evening, with an hour and a half-ish kind of time to kill, my then girlfriend, now wife, says to me, she says, "Have you seen High School Musical?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Would you like to watch it?" And I said, "Yes." Because she had High School Musical 2 on DVD, and I figured, well, we'll be on the road to downsizing that if we You know, have you ever had like a stack of DVDs where you're like, oh, I can't get rid of them because I'm going to have to watch them? Because like now we've done away with a lot of physical media over the years, and what remains, you might look at our shelf, and people have noticed in pictures what I've done near my shelf. They're like, oh, you must really love this movie. It's like, no, I've like not watched that movie in like 7 years. Right. And that's why it's there. It's not because I love it so much. It's because I don't like it enough to watch it and then get rid of it.
So you feel like you have to watch it in order to then get rid of it?
It feels like when you're going through stuff of like doing a spring clean, and the question is of like, will I get rid of this movie I have no interest in? And then you go, well, you've not watched it yet.
No.
So much like an unread book, an unwatched movie remains on the shelf.
Right.
But unlike an unread book on the shelf where if someone sees it, they go, ooh, they'll look in here and see like Maniac on our shelf and be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
That seems very fair of you to let it have its opportunity to impress me. And if it doesn't, off it goes.
The horror movie about the tire that kills people. I fell asleep watching it in 2014. And I thought, we'll give it a good go though, Joe, right? And here we are. Nearly over 10 years later. It's still hanging in there.
Right. Anyway, High School Musical, which you now don't have High School Musical 2 on DVD.
I think actually it was then loved and now it's decided to keep it like, right. So, you know, that's happy to be on the DVD shelf, so, as far as I'm concerned, you know. That shows broad range of taste.
Yes.
People will see that, then they'll see the Donkey Kong Country 2 vinyl and they'll go, a man of musical taste and sophistication. Let's not bother showing him Blink 182.
No, he's already got all the music he needs.
He's topped out, like, you know?
Okay, should we get into this film?
You didn't tell me your initial gut reaction was just like stating the genre of the movie. That's not, you're not allowed to do that, like... Oh, what your initial gut reaction to Godfather 2? Well, certainly an epic gangster movie, that was.
It feels like I'm in court and I need to just state the very clear facts of what this was. It was a musical set in a high school, Your Honour.
We can enter that into the record now, if you don't mind.
Get that on record.
Submit that.
I have watched High School Musical, which was in itself a high school musical.
About a musical that they never actually put on.
No.
There's never a moment where they're like, that musical you're auditioning for, you've already done it. Because there's a camera over there. And it was like, what? Like, yeah, we've been filming children for years to make
and that's
a
good,
musical.
Actually.
Hey, we all dance about it.
I'm not, this is one of the ones
There's a lot of sighing going on.
I don't know what
What's the sighing about? Come on. How'd you get on with musicals typically, Sam? What's the hit record been like here on Cinema Swirl? Because there's been a few over the years now. We had Grease.
Yeah.
We had
Grease
Les Mis.
did well. Les Mis, you know, we...
Grease 2, remember the Cool Rider? You liked him on Cinema Swirl.
I'm all right with musicals.
It was like the Stig.
It's not that it's a musical. It's almost too much exactly what you would expect it to be.
Like, you feel like you could have had a guess of what it was, and like experiencing it didn't like provide you with enough knowledge to, you couldn't have bluffed your way through normally. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like you could have had to go with this bit without actually having watched the movie, you reckon?
I think so, yeah.
You've not done that now, have you?
No. But I don't.
Because if you are, the first play of this chess match has been outstanding. If this is your play, it's a very good one, sir.
I don't know what my feeling about this film is. Let's talk about it and see if we can't tease that out and figure out how I felt.
We open on New Year's Eve on such a iconic New Year's Eve shot. I no further than 2 times checked to make sure I wasn't accidentally watching High School Musical, New Year's Rockin' Eve, or High School Musical, the series presents New Year's Eve. Like, because there are a lot of spin-offs.
Right.
I was correct. No, we were in the right place. We were, because Zac Efron's name showed up there and he went, woo, it's okay.
Yes.
He's on the rocket list as well. We'll both have something to talk about.
And I recognise other names on the list.
Did you?
Hudgens. Is it Vanessa Hudgens?
Vanessa Hudgens.
Hudgens, I recognise.
Yes.
That might be it. But I think there was maybe another one that I was like, oh yeah, okay. I sort of know some of these names.
know the names in that you hear the names? You've seen the names written down at HollywoodMagazine.com?
Yeah.
Or are you watching stuff with these crazy kids who are now disgustingly and really upsettingly adults now?
Ugh, gross. No, just like in, popular culture, but not really through watching stuff. More through celebrity gossip and news, I think. I would have heard of Hudgens and Efron.
Controversial figures in the circuit, Sam?
Are they?
I'm asking you!
I don't know. No. Yeah? No.
So you endorse Vanessa Hudgens?
Then? No, I don't know.
In light of recent incidents, I know even less than you about that. So how about that? We're all okay. We do not endorse Vanessa Hudgens unless she's on some sort of if you don't endorse them, you endorse them type oxymoronic platform.
Yes,
we're just steering clear of that.
I'm nervous. Look, Zac Efron and Dad Efron are basketball boys.
And it was refreshing because I think that Zac Efron's dad in this, the Coach Bolton, that's probably the average age of the child in Greece is what he is. He's like a middle-aged man who has you look like you could be mistook for your age, but I'm observant, so I won't make that mistake.
So they're, shooting hoops, having fun.
New Year's Eve, man.
It's New Year's Eve, playing basketball on New Year's Eve.
Come on.
I was immediately taken by Zac Efron's haircut, which is a haircut that I have had more than one time in my life.
It's like this thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the kind of sweepy, floppy... for users on Spotify, or indeed anyone watching on YouTube. that was... I might take that one for the thumbnail. No, I won't. That would be unfair.
Use it as a cold open. I'm smitten. Use it as a thumbnail. That's a fucking low. That's a dirty low blow is what that is.
But yeah, cool haircut. I'm on board with it. It's sort of what's on the Cinema Swirl Sam Chaplin logo. It's kind of that sort of thing.
What are the pros and cons of that haircut, Sam? Talk me through it. Because you're a man who has had hairstyles.
Yeah.
I've just had hair incidentally, I think, which I've not had the blessing of the type of hair that I can command what it will be doing.
The benefit is you don't have to get your hair cut as often if you let it grow down like that. It's fairly easy to style into that way. And I've got no shame about my forehead, but if you wanted to hide it, that's an easy way of doing it. It's bangs, essentially, or / a fringe.
You could have had a scar there the whole time,
That could have been a fun twist at the end. He sweeps the hair back. He's been a wizard the whole time.
Actually, those of us in the forehead scar community, hello, don't like the connotation that there's a wizarding quality to it. It is weird and gross. Plus, I've got 2 scars on my forehead, visible that is. So if I see your little Harry Potter, I'm dumping him in the bin, because I'm twice the man he'll ever be. Twice the man.
I'll tell you what's not cool, Kevin. Bringing a book to New Year's Eve.
I just want to read at the teen party. What's going on?
Come on. There's this nerdy girl bringing a goddamn book to the party. What are you playing at?
Can I just say, I didn't realise that they were called teen parties. I also didn't realise that parents referred to them as such to the teenagers. They're like, hey, are you going to the teen party later on? Teen party. No, thanks. I'm too busy reading my book, which is like a basketball in a sense. It's analogous, isn't it?
It's a what, sorry?
Analogous.
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 That's...
Analogous.
He's...
No, not the Angelus. That's not till later.
It's an alligator. No, it is analogous to the basketball that Zac Efron has. She's got a book. They've got their representations of their clique. What would you call this? Like a kind of cliched group?
It's about like passions and how they're a waste of time. You know what it is?
Yeah.
Because you see it's New Year's Eve, but I see Zach down there, and I'm thinking it must be Sunday because he's in church on the court, Sam, saying a few Hail Marys, not that he needs to, as he throws a few Hail Mary shots.
Yeah.
I think that what we can safely say is these are kids who are extremely high functioning and high achieving, which probably makes me and you, who were labelled as thus but didn't achieve that status. I resented both of them straight away. I don't know if I can say the same for you, Sam.
No, I see where you're coming from. Yeah. We've done well. We've done well, actually. We've achieved a lot.
Yeah, but not in the way that label inferred.
No.
You know?
No.
Like, that label inferred you would have seen plenty of movies by now.
Yeah.
You know, that's what was in his file. You should see these.
Yeah. I've still got the little keyring from the National Academy of Movie Buffs, but
wow,
means nothing. So they've got their two things. They're they don't know each other. They're kind of opposites, you would think, but they're both picked to duet at karaoke on New Year's Eve. Who would believe it? It's mad.
Is this idea, is that, like, if you hear horror stories about being a teenager, that as a child you would watch High School Musical and go, that looks all right, doesn't it? It doesn't look like such a grind. Doesn't seem like such a hard go of it at all. Singing in a ski lodge. I can handle that so-called difficult years.
I did a big old laugh when Zac Efron's voice kicked in here, his singing voice, which I'm pretty sure is a separate boy who has been brought in to do the singing. That's my accusation. Is that? No, but you know, this is always the case with musicals. Even when it is the person's voice, the transition between talking voice and on a different microphone that has been produced better, the singing voice comes in. It's always funny. It's always awkward.
I do love when he sings and he's like, "We're Flo," and he's like, "Whoa, like,
I can sing."
Like, I have had that reaction, the opposite reaction, where I'm like, dig this, a karaoke. I'm like, ah! Everybody wants to rule the world, except me, the man whose hubris makes him pick that song every time at karaoke. I'm like, I'm like, whoa, what is this? I didn't anticipate this.
In your defense, I feel like even when you're doing a musical and you're in a film, any depiction of karaoke should always have a bit of shitness to it, or a bit of silliness, or a bit of, you know, it not quite working. There was way too much harmonizing for karaoke. Like, no one in the history of karaoke has ever successfully harmonized, I don't think.
I don't know, Sam. I was in karaoke on Christmas Eve this year, and I had a few too many drinks, and I think I was exactly this good, if not, if memory recalls, slightly better than these two punks, who, as you've alluded to, clearly have some other unloved lesser Disney star down in the fucking mine singing it for them.
Yes.
Look down, you'll always be a teen. And they don't get their chance. They're down there grinding away singing the songs while Zac Efron's getting all the fucking love and adulation of being a top star. Yes. Kids are natural. That's the thing, though. Kids are natural. Like, he knows when to harmonize in a way that most people would wish they know when to go for the first kiss. He looks like unsure in a way which gives her the invitation, and he's already in there. He's already...
Yep.
Well, he's not kissing her. He's singing at the same time. But he doesn't make the mistake. It can be cute to ask permission for a kiss.
Yes.
But if you ask permission to harmonize, you'll ruin the song.
Yes. No, you can't be like, can I harmonize at this point?
It's awful.
Throughout the course of the song, the chemistry clearly grows. It starts out a bit like, oh, I didn't know we could both sing so beautifully. And by the end, they're confident, they're having fun, everyone's grooving, everyone's bopping. There's a guy with a Viking helmet for some reason. They're all just having a laugh. Everything's going
America
well.
seems to have very much a hat-based New Year's, it feels like.
Yes.
Two men with large heads coming at you, speaking truth.
Hello.
Thinking that's fucking like, am I in like 2003 then? Is that what it is? Do I like, because I'll tell you, most of the New Year's, if not all, have been hatless since then. Unless, the thing is, there'd be some of them comedy, like the big comedy Stetsons. We could wear them and they'd look like normal hats.
Yeah,
you know? Yes. Because we're big, we kind of scale down to size.
That's a normal hat for us.
It's a normal hat.
This song, you know, an original song, fine, you know. I'm really struggling because I can't remember any of the songs other than the last one, really. I can't remember how they go.
Sam, can I? Well, I've listened to it before.
Yeah.
And also, I was listening to it throughout today on Spotify as well. Oh. That was the start of something new. That's what that song was. Yeah. There are highlights throughout that I will draw attention to. This is more of a proof of concept that two people can sing and There's not much that happens when the singing happens in this movie. Oftentimes, when singing happens in musicals, there's a great deal of like,
Stuff
we're
going
going
on
to a place or a montage, whatever it is. They're very often like, give me the mic, camera right here, like lounge singer,
Here
like
we go.
you're just gonna one man, one mic, one Vanessa Hudgens. Here we go, and you bash it out, you know.
Yeah.
It's very lo-fi. It's the closest the High School Musical comes to Stuart Lee's comedy vehicle in the earlier seasons.
Yes. We get the big countdown to New Year's. The CGI fireworks go off. It's snowing. It looks like an opportune moment for a kiss because, you know, who are you going to kiss? Doesn't happen, but they do swap numbers on their lovely little 2006 phones. When phones used to like twist and bend and flop around.
You know, it's emerging tech because the folks at the Disney Channel added some helpful bleep, 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 when they're like, oh, hang on, let me take your phone number. Yeah, I got it in there now, is what I do, yeah.
They're in contact if they need to be. But this was New Year's away on holiday in some ski resort somewhere. Zac Efron, what's his character's name? Troy
Bolton, which was left as the name after Tim Eccles couldn't get off the ground. There wasn't enough round table support for it.
He heads back to high school after vacation, and this is set in Albuquerque, which makes me wonder
if in the Breaking Bad universe?
If we're in Vince Gilligan's Breaking Bad universe / Better Call Saul universe.
There's a lot of overlap, you know. Yeah. There was a lot of times where I was looking quite honestly at Walter and I would say, would you get your head in the game? And he's like, the game is selling drugs. And I'm like, no, the greater game of being a good, responsible adult is what it is. So I think it is a distinct possibility that I have to hear evidence against before I assume anything other than it is 100% fact.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad is set in there as well, as is Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
As is El Camino and the making of El Camino, a Breaking Bad story. The webisodes with Badger, they're not.
They're non-canon.
No, they're non-canon.
I would bet big on at least one Reddit post suggesting that this takes place in the same universe.
For instance, there's color theory in this. Like, did you notice that all the people on the sports team wore red?
Yeah.
The color of sport.
Yes.
Sports team red, I think the shade is.
Look, he's as maybe predicted, a basketball jock leading the team towards the big game. The big game's coming.
The big game. And look, you got a sweeping dose of High School Musical energy here.
Yeah.
And I do want it to be known that I don't believe this high-octane energy exists. I don't think, school's not like that. No, I just mean it doesn't exist anywhere. Like, it's never, ever. My issue is that it's in school and it's an unrealistic view of school. It's an unrealistic view of humanity, is what it is.
What, this level of enthusiasm?
There'd be at least one person spitting on the floor during this bit.
Yeah, okay.
You know, or taking a shit in a public bin, or breaking a water fountain or something like that. Like, you know,
there's not enough of that. It is.
It's wild to watch this after adolescence. Yes, it is.
No, not after. Well, sort of.
Oh, sorry. Have you not seen it, Sam? Have you not seen it? That's very interesting.
Kevin's pointing his phone at me for his safety.
It's for my safety. It's for my safety.
After having watched American Pie, this feels so. And even after watching, I know it's not a high school movie.
Girls' Rules?
Yeah, Girls' Rules. Like, this feels so sanitized and safe, which is a Disney movie and it's a Disney Channel movie, so of course it does. But it's almost quite jarring to see any of the rough edges completely smoothed off. Like, there is no...
It makes it kind of surreal. Like,
I
find in a good way. You know?
Okay.
Because it's like, it's so far removed from any, tangible experience of it being a human.
There's almost a dreamlike quality to it, I guess.
It is. It does feel like you could reveal at the end, like it was a Goosebumps twist, and Or Stein had us up on the moon all along. It felt like it could have had that. Yeah. I can see why, if you were even 15% an ordinary teenager or preteen.
Hello.
this would drive you around the twist and up the bend. Now, how would have Sam Chaplin, noted fucking antichrist, blading it up on the fucking skateboards? There were girls in his school, all right?
Yeah.
What would he have thought of this atmos they're giving us here?
I would have fucking hated this, I think, because I've got to be cards on the table. I'm not who I was when I was like 14, 15, but
he's much worse.
Yes, it's only gone downhill.
He was a very sanguine child, but now he doesn't suffer fools gladly.
I think as a teen, I would have fucking hated this. I think, and I don't hate it now, but there is that part of me that's like, oh, what's this American high school shite?
Was there ever a moment in school where you felt that we were even like approaching this kind of happy dancing, everyone in sync? There's no experience of school like that, or even close to that. Because like my school was split up between 3 buildings, right? And between classes, people would have to walk between the different houses. Right. And sometimes a fight would break out while people were walking from one school house to the other. Yeah. So there would be a fight, and then there'd be 2 emerging clouds of around 100 students there. And then one time, one of the housemasters saw this and got really annoyed, and he was driving the van, and he drove the van into the middle of all of this kids who were coming around, and he spun the van around, and loads of gravel went up, and everyone went, ah! And he went, what the fuck are you doing? And that was the closest we ever came to this atmosphere here, because everyone was kind of like, wow, but we were kind of more like, ah, it was more like we were expecting an exciting fight, flip, reverse it. There's an adult
gravel everywhere,
a speeding van towards us, and the chaser is lots of small, sharp stones are coming in. Ah, so we must have seemed like we were dancing and hooing and hawing. Yeah. But it was just a gross breakdown of the pupil-student relationship.
I'd rather watch that movie, and I would say, rightly or wrongly, you can't be driving a van towards a crowd of children these days, can you? Because of, we all know why.
Because of woke. Because of woke.
Yeah, you can't do it.
I rocked up my first day as a teacher with a brand new transit van. They took the keys off me and put them in the safe with the smartphones. And I'm like, you're falling into Andrew Tate's hands with this. Yes. This is what he wants.
School was not like this, and I would have felt very cynical about this watching it as a teen.
You know what it is, folks? It's because Sam's jealous that the Wildcats are going for the championships, and that Nottingham blank. Did you have a school team or a mascot or anything like that?
So I was going to come back to this later, but I think literally every basketball team that is not one of the famous NBA basketball teams is called the Wildcats. Like literally every single fucking one. Any fictional basketball team, all the time they're called the Wildcats.
Judging from the bit of research I did back in the day about domestication and whatnot, I suggest there could possibly be more teams of wildcats in the wild in existence than actual wildcats now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying they're small figures. I'm saying they're both big enough, but maybe one is bigger than the other and you don't realise which.
I think basketball teams don't consider domestic cats as much as they should. I think you could have, like, the Nottingham Tabbies, and that would be a nice team to have, just like a little...
The Derby Shorthairs, etc.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, boo, but it's a good idea. So Gabriella is Vanessa Hudgens. She's a nerd genius. She doesn't want to be seen as that. But she is like, I'm really smart. I'm such a genius. I don't want everyone to think I'm smart. She's starting at the same school because her mom has been transferred to the area through work.
We introduced around this time to the most important characters in the movie.
Yeah.
Sharpay and her brother Ryan, who dresses like The Miz from 2009. He's got a different hat in every scene. And we're trying to zone in on this recently because Joe has noticed that the older I've gotten, the funnier I find hats. And I think it's the longer I've went not being able to wear hats. Because again, when I was much younger as a child, my head wasn't this big. There was a period up until around 10 or 12. Yeah. I could wear a hat. And the further time passes now from me having a tangible memory of wearing a hat, the funnier I find hats.
Well, now, to you, they're an absurd concept.
They're an absurd kind of kitschy throwback to a bygone era, you know? So, I obviously like Ryan, who had a different hat in every scene. That was very funny.
We're meeting a lot of our characters in this brief... Is this like kind of like, when you're in tutor groups at school and you do like registration or whatever?
They
like,
call them a homeroom in America.
Homeroom.
Or, I believe some of them call them pods, which, as podcasters, I think that's not on.
No.
That's our thing.
That's ours.
We need to have shorthand, because Sam might be asking to be about the casts that have been swimming around, and I could be talking about going fly fishing, which I haven't, but I might. So
there's a Gabriella and Troy. They're in the same class. They kind of catch eyes and they're like, wait a minute, you're the... But everyone's been put in detention because they've got their cell phones back and they're answering back. So there is a detention coming later on.
Yeah, so I will say, watching this right after watching Adolescence was interesting. It'll probably reset the algorithm a little bit in terms of what I'm recommended in terms of content and whatnot.
Yeah.
But were you in your school? Because phones weren't smart. Well, you're like 3 years younger than me, so
yeah.
The smartness of phones would have developed while you were at school. But as is the case with all emerging tech, oftentimes codifying that in school rules is difficult.
So phones were banned at school. Like, I had a mobile phone during school time, but I'm
banned.
I'm old enough that I remember just leaving that phone at home when I went.
You left the phone at home?
Yeah, that was at some point normal. Now, sometimes my dad goes for walks and stuff, and he just leaves his phone at home, and I think that's bananas. But it's probably very.
But that's now that has implied meanings. Now that means that your dad, like, maybe he's like, if he walks away and leaves his phone, he won't come back. Like, I'm not saying that he's gonna, but if he would, and the same for my dad, if he was to leave home at this advanced stage and start anew. Which again, part of me now wants to see both our dads try this and see who'd last longest. I think it'd be really fun. But if they were to do it, phase 1 of that plan, even if phase 10 is like start another family, phase 1 is leaving the phone at home.
Leave the phone at home.
That's phase 1, like, you know?
Anyway, all of that to say, when I was at school, no phones. And also phones weren't really smart enough that you would even really want to have them. Yeah.
Interesting. So I'm glad that we were addressing some of the kind of the worried kind of stereotyping and whatnot, because who's this in the homeroom making all sorts of pithy remarks? They've not got glasses. They've not got a pocket protector or suspenders. And nary a check in sight. These brains are just like well-dressed fucking savage preppies.
Yeah, what the fuck's going on with these?
They just got the fucking answers, haven't they?
Wow. I've not seen... So this is the thing about, like, in American Pie, if you want a nerd character, or even in any other film, you are going to have all of that glasses, pocket protector. Yeah, just like,
I'm really smart. Ergo, I must have some severe lacking social faculties. There's something wrong with me, like.
Yeah.
Oh, so everyone watches it, goes, that explains it. That's why.
Yeah.
When you're like, that's why they're not as good as me.
But these nerds are just the same as all the other kids.
Yeah,
that's not fair.
They're just better than us. That's no good.
And no one seems to even hate them. They're just like there. What the fuck? That's not right.
How are they meant to tell their story when they've no adversity to overcome?
Troy and Gabriella, they're like, and there's a musical.
What was that, Sam? Could you repeat that?
So,
okay.
I'm here now.
So you all know where we are in the movie. You all know where we are in the movie now. We're at that crucial juncture there. You remember that bit?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, I was doing the sound effects that they added when they used their phones. There is a high school. There's a musical at school.
Musical.
There are musical, and there are sign-ups. And you mentioned Sharpay and Sharpay's brother, who are mean.
They are very much wanting to get you to know, as a would-be teen watching this,
yes,
that drama and musicals is the most fulfilling thing there is. It's the best thing.
Yeah.
But also it attracts the worst people. And that is the tricky navigation of high school. Doing what you want to do and loving it, but tolerating the terrible people who decide to also do it with you.
Yes. There is this dynamic in the film of like, look, these lot over here, they're the sport ones and they do the sport. These lot over here, they're the drama ones, they do the drama. You are not allowed to intersect those two worlds, but Troy is conflicted and he's like, maybe I could sign up and get some extra credit. What do you think, basketball pal? And they're like, shut up, man, the big game. It's the big game, dude.
Beat him up,
big
like
game.
Locker room hazing, stuffed gym shorts in his mouth.
Well, that's the thing. There's none of that. There's just
it's not
one
like,
friend being like, no, let's practice for the big game.
Like, the worst way you can be a bully in High School Musical is like be supportive in like a more aggressive way. You're like, you gotta do it, man. Like that's as sharp as you're going to get. Like,
no, man, you're so talented at this other thing.
Whoa, dude, you can't say that now. Hang on, whoa. We don't use the T word in this locker room, okay?
There is a basketball song, and the percussion is the bounces of the balls on the court.
It's the best song.
The squeaky shoes on the court.
Get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. If you replace the word ball with Constitution, this could be in Hamilton.
It does.
Yo, George Washington was a lot like a basketball. See? It works.
It is that very Disney version of sort of what hip hop is, which feels. It had a kind of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 feel to it.
Yes,
it did. Nice.
It was crafting its own path because the aptly named Chad, who's also on the basketball team, does inform Troy. He says, "Careful, man. The music in those musicals isn't like rock or hip hop or the Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack, aka essential to culture. So." Well, they have to go for a different style here. Hey, look, all I'm saying is, if these High School Musical basketball players have got such a problem with fucking musicals, they have a funny way of showing it by bursting into song and coordinated dance.
Well, yes.
I mean, dare I say, having a protest at it and then doing perhaps the best bit of it in the musical. I don't know, man.
I agree with you that this was the best song. The kind of get your head to the game. And he gets to do the bit where he sort of talks about, I don't know whether... Like, it all... Sorry, I'm doing a lot of... But he's like, conflicted. No, get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. It's a good song. It achieves what it needs to achieve. Good stuff.
Let Troy know that he really needs to get his head in the game. And also, just audition. Come on, man. It's good.
Sharpay and her brother... They're looking up who this new girl are, right, on the internet.
They find her lurid past as an Einsteinette, as they refer to her. An Einsteinette, which is... It's good, because, I mean, look, I obviously think we don't need to... There's certain terms that don't need to be gendered, for sure. And I'm glad we moved away from that. That being said, if we do lose words like Einsteinette along the way, and I'm not even saying we're losing much. We're losing hardly anything. I grant you that. But
Einsteinette. Yes. So their plan is to print off this glowing article about this girl and just sort of put it in some of the lockers, which all that does is leads to the Scholastic Decathlon team girl. We remember the normal looking nerds from before. She's like, oh, you're really clever. Do you want to join the clever team and be on the Scholastic Decathlon? And it's just a nice thing that happens.
I will say, with regards to High School Musical and its analogous plots for both of its main character, the Decathlon is very much kind of like what they're basically doing. We can kind of show you do the big event at the end, and there's less time. Like, they don't get their own song about getting your head in the game for the Decathlon. No. It's like assumed that she probably secondhand heard about Troy's experience with getting his head in the game and thought, I'll do much the same myself. The idea that the scandalous thing that can happen in school is that someone is going to spread illicitly information about your prior success.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you, there was no staff meeting I ever went into where, like, oh God, all over Snapchat, screenshots of the academic, frankly, spectacular record of one of our students has been illicitly shared. They only sent it to one of them as a joke, and then it got spread around like wildfire. Now everyone knows that they're top of the class.
There's no... What do I want from this film? A bit of friction.
You want friction?
A bit of bite, and...
You want about friction? Sharpay and fucking the boy with the hat are coming down them like a ton of bricks. There's your friction.
I know, but... Right. something I do want to talk about, and this is very interesting, because I think this film does straddle a weird line of feeling like a real film, but also, because it's a TV movie, you see where the ad breaks are meant to be.
Yeah, a little Fade to Black. Did you not utilise those?
No, we didn't.
We break. Second cup of coffee. Checking if the dishwasher had been emptied. It had. I forgot I did it earlier.
Okay.
You know? Those are natural breaks.
I kept forgetting that it's maybe not a proper movie until little moments like that where I'm like, oh yeah, wait, this is just telly, kind of. I don't know if that's dismissive, but because...
it feels dismissive, but you're right, you can dismiss it.
Because Efron and Hudgens now are stars, that also plays on my mind, and I'm like, oh, it's a movie with movie stars in it, but it was a...
Are you saying you don't fade to black on Zac Efron? Is that what you're saying?
Not anymore. But you did then, because this was his breakout. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, but it's just weird that we are technically doing a TV movie, but it doesn't always feel like a TV movie. It feels mostly like a movie, but there's little reminders.
No more does this feel like Fantasyland than when we cut to detention, and all they have to do is fucking be a tree in a play.
Yeah.
Well, that's not so fucking bad, is it?
No, that's fine. I'd like that sort of detention,
Ever get detention, Sam?
Yes, once.
Same, once.
Yeah.
One time.
I learnt my lesson.
Almost got him, like.
Yeah.
What was your crime? What was your sentence?
Using a ruler to shine a light on the whiteboard, and at one point that got into Mr. Fox's eye.
He could have died.
And he immediately perished. And, I got off lightly, really, with the detention. No, he sort of, clocked that I was doing that on purpose. It was kind of absent-mindedly just sort of dicking around, not with any kind of ill intent, but I was immediately put in detention. And the detention was just, at the end of the day, sitting there doing fuck all for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes? I don't know how long detention lasted.
Oh, that's not so fucking bad.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I got roped in. We used to have end of year awards ceremony where because we were a boarding school, people come from all over, so you'd have a big to do on the grounds. So you have a million chairs that have to get put out. So we always knew that on the run up to that, the 5-star wanted level likelihood raise, you go from naught to detention because it's there's only been 6 kids smoking this week, and we need at least 10 to stack these chairs out. So. I was caught with lapsed permission for going to the village. I didn't have an up-to-date blue card. That, my friends, earns you a Saturday morning detention. Stacking chairs.
Okay. I was going to say, how does detention work at boarding school? Because at my school, it was if you get detention, you don't get to go home for a bit.
Okay, well, there's difference now. Because
your home was the school.
I was gated, which is different. So in boarding school, there was the rules of the school and the rules of the boarding house. And school rules broken meant you got detention.
Yeah.
And that was generally on a Saturday morning. But if you got in trouble in boarding school, your remit of punishment was usually gating or ref cleanup or things of that nature. And I believe I told the story on another podcast before because it was on a pay-per-view where I stayed up late to watch. But me and a bunch of boys used to watch the wrestling shows in the middle of the night, got caught. Yes. And were made an example of and were gated for an unprecedented 4 weekends in a row.
What does gated mean? Sorry, I've lost...
I'm not allowed to go home. Normally on the weekends I'd go home. This time I had to stay in school. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, back to school. Whole week of school. Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night in school. And unlike, say, it would happen now and then where I couldn't go home because my parents were... away or it was unavailable or whatever it was, there are times you have to stay in, but it's okay, I'll go to the village, I'll go to my friend's house, I'll go to the city or whatever. But if you're gated, you're not allowed to do that. So you have to stay in an empty school with just a couple of the students from abroad so I learned a lot about South Korea and Nigeria and Russia during those long 4 weeks.
Yes. Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
And I think as well, though, you couldn't gate people in High School Musical. It'd be such a bummer, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, that wouldn't work. But
come on, Troy, get your head in the game. I can't. I'm homesick. Come on, Troy, do you want to get your head in the game? No.
So this whole thing about the Troy's dad, the coach, and the drama teacher lady, also as older people and teachers, still have that divide of our things are
Montagues
separate.
and Capulatos
Yes,
is what it is for
right.
Romulus and Julio. All right, that's
I
what we got going on here.
That's what we're doing. I get it. Fine.
What's worse, having a teacher who's your parent or having a coach that's a parent?
Yeah, hold on a minute. Another thing that I'm upset. What I'm campaigning for here in this film is more bullying and hatred because Troy, his dad is a fucking teacher and coach, and everyone's like, "Oh, your dad's awesome." Oh, no, he should be. I'm sorry,
ridiculed
ruthlessly. If I have any sense of justice, that's what's meant to happen. I'm sorry, but them's the rules.
I feel that if you are the offspring of anyone in the academic setting, you should have the hardest time possible.
Yeah, but like his dad is the coach and his son is the star, and all the other basketball players.
Why is that then, Sam? Oh, he's the playmaker. Why is that then, Sam?
Yeah, but that causes no issue. No one is like, "Oh, come on, mate, you're like daddy's boy," and
they're
none
indoctrinated.
Of that.
They're indoctrinated. Sam. They're fucking chanting and cheering about some old man's fucking high school athletic accomplishments from like 30 years prior.
Like, your dad was great.
Holding up pictures. That's like, look, you can have your school legend, but it dies when you matriculate. Like that's exactly what happens. Like you're not allowed to have the legend go on afterward. There was one time in boarding school, I was 13 years old. It was 2 a.m. Our prefect went around and woke up each and every 23 of us who were in our dorm, woke us up saying, "Baz the bad boy is back. Baz the bad boy is back. Baz the bad boy is back." So it turned out that Baz the bad boy was back, Sam, and we were all woken up to be informed of this fact. And what was Baz was a bad boy who had previously went to the school many years prior, who had made a impression on our prefects who were responsible for us younger 12 and 13-year-old boys in our dorm.
Yes.
And he had decided to rock up to the school one night because he had left school 3 years prior and was just kind of milling about. And we were woken up with the idea that this bad boy was about to come into our school and like fuck shit up. He never believed. But he just talked to some of the other students and then left. And looking back now, a 23-year-old man driving to his old school and like kind of alluding to going into like the door. Oh no, this man is coming. Baz the bad boy. What was his plan? What was his end game like?
Baz the bad man. You know,
Baz the bad man. He's not a bad boy anymore. He's a bad man.
Yes.
Baz the bad man has made a critical error in judgment. I just had to tell you, the child, about this.
We're getting a lot of Kevin's school life vignettes now, and I'm very happy about that.
And I bit my tongue about a primary school vignette I could have shared about the daughter of our principal who was unduly selected to go on our equivalent of Red Nose Day.
Yeah.
That was meant to be open for the whole school to participate in. We all raised money at the Brick-a-Back sale, and or Injustice Lives On.
And that feeling should be in this film. That Troy...
It should, Sam. It should. It's too fair, this school. That's what the problem is.
Yes. It's too fair.
The Ofsted inspection says requires cruelty.
Yes, it
What
is.
I
didn't think I'd be advocating for this, but I'm really like, there needs to be more cruelty in this depiction of school, please. Let's not have people believing that school is nice.
This is what people are saying if you ban smartphones in school, it'll be like. Don't you remember when our kids used to do flash mobs? Don't you remember those days before TikTok?
So, it's nearly audition time, and Troy is like sneaking around, avoiding detection from all the people who could spot him going to the audition, and he's sneaking into the theatre area.
A lot of these kids are duds who are auditioning, clearly playing off of the love of bad American Idol, etc. auditions. Yeah. Except for Alan, who comes across like a young Crispin Glover in his extreme weirdness, like he does not belong in this movie, like.
Yes, it's a classic sequence of like bad auditions. Next, you're shit. Troy and Gabriella are hanging out at the back, both nervous about auditioning. Sharpay and her brother are what I would describe as frustratingly good. They are You know when someone's bad, but they are good at the thing that they do.
That's a theater kid's experience. I think you need people like this for the whole thing to tick over and all that.
These cunts have got the talent to back it up, and that's a real shame.
They are. It's the earned snobbishness, and the fact that they don't like mace people to death with this fact is genuinely surprising.
Yeah.
You know, talent is a cudgel to be wielded by the young and popular and swung with reckless abandon at their peers. The song they sing at the audition is the one difficulty is you have the heels essentially singing this like really nice song, and you can't work a nice song heel. It's hard to put an evil spin on lyrics like do 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 do. What? It's like me describing how I want the next Mario Kart soundtrack to be in the studio. You go do 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 beep boo. Like I want to beat that. If it was a beat, the flowers would all move to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The cloud would kind of bop along. Like,
yeah,
you know?
too joyous. The heels deserve a heel song.
They do.
Where they get to be little shits and be horrible.
And we also see the shout out to the quiet backstage members. We have the composer of all of these songs.
Yeah.
Who kind of looks like she gave you a tutorial on an Advance Wars spin-off with her little hat and all that.
Yes.
And she can't help but look on in absolute agony as these two fucking pros frankly nail her middling theme.
The bad character, well, maybe there's no bad character, there's no baddies, but these guys, they just do the song really well and put on a great performance.
Sam, look, all I'll say is this, right? With regards to Sharpay and Ryan, they're franchise MVPs, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly. So get used to them because you'll be seeing a lot of them.
Okay. I'm glad because they were kind of my favourites in this.
Good,
really.
yes!
Yeah.
That's correct. If you watch Sopranos and you like Bobby, you did it right. If you watch High School Musical and you like Sharpay and hats. You did well.
Fucking hats over here.
Oh, hats over here.
Our two main characters, Gabriella and Troy, they're still hanging out at the back. And then they bravely decide to audition, but the auditions are over. It's too late. You're not allowed. I did like the theatre teacher being like, Troy, where's your sports posse or whatever? As like she doesn't know about teams and that's fun.
And I will say, it was going outside the realms of stereotyping and whatnot, but having the hard ass drama teacher as opposed to the soft touch drama teacher. Yeah,
yes,
very
please.
good.
She doesn't let him audition, but they hang out with that composer girl and try out the song anyway.
Yeah, this is where you get the fucking power. You get in good with the people who are power brokers and don't even realize it, like the fucking composer over here.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know why I'm here. I just wrote the whole fucking musical. She's like 14.
Yeah.
Jesus.
The teacher overhears this and they get invited to the callback. I don't really know much about like how, plays and musicals work, but this seems significant that you've done the audition and you're getting called back.
The callback is like a second audition.
Yeah.
Right? So they're going to have a kind of a confirmation process.
Okay.
But it means you're under strong consideration. So they're under strong consideration after this.
Right.
But there's a trickle-on effect from this because people get inspired finding out that a brain and a jock can sing. So everyone's got a fucking dark secret in this school, it turns out.
Can I just point out that Sharpay and Hats so furious that they think they're on Ashton Kutcher's Punk'd. That's how bad it's got. That there must be hidden cameras because this is ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, Hats could have taken off the hat and been like, it's me, Ashton Kutcher. He was kneeling down on sneakers the entire time.
Yes. Yeah, I like the song where all the kids get to talk about their secret passions.
No, you can't like anything.
Stick to what you know. There's a boy who likes baking. There's a skater who likes to play the cello.
Oh, Sam, whoa, the skaters are getting a look in.
Yeah,
they're
I like
an
that.
absolute, honest-to-goodness affiliated posse, and they're treated like an absolute joke. It's a fucking disgrace.
It's a shame, but quite a nice song. And even though the chorus is like, no, stick to what you know, don't mix your passions.
No.
Ultimately, the message is, oh, all of these kids are talented and they've got multiple interests, and actually that's okay. It's kind of it's not really it's too nice, it's too fair.
But that's not nice. Listen to the lyrics. They're literally saying, like, no, enough of that. Like,
No, but they're all dancing around and being like, yay, I like, you can't be like, if the message of the song is only do what you know, don't try anything else, it shouldn't be this fun to sing, Jan. We shouldn't have so much jaunty.
Like, if I reveal I want to make a creme brulee to someone, you don't be fucking singing no at me. Like, fuck you. Fuck you, I'm making it, like, singing no at me, like, what a waste of breath that is.
Is that baking?
No.
Making a creme brulee?
Well, we're getting into dessert creation, aren't we? Like, which I guess in a sense is baking because but it's a set custard with a caramelized top. I can't tell you, Sam.
If I was thinking an example of a baked good, I wouldn't say creme brulee.
Well, you know what? I was going to look more into it, but then someone started singing into how I should stick to what I know, so I did a podcast instead.
Stick to what you know.
I was meant to make a creme brulee this evening. Instead, I'm talking about High School Musical on a podcast.
In fact,
I have to stick to what I know.
From now on Cinema Swirl, if you start talking about like food that you've made, I'm gonna say no. Stick to what you know.
Is that what you should sing to Pepsi to get him to like, where they're like, "Aye, Pepsi sugar free"? No, I don't want that. No,
I'm still sad about that.
Yeah, I got like sadder and sadder. Over the course of the evening, and then I watched High School Musical, and I was like,
it brought you back up.
Woohoo! So Sam, look, if you're sad about your favorite, childhood drink going away, just like fucking stick to what you know. I don't know.
I'm hoping the saga of the phasing out of the Max branding plays out
It's ongoing.
Yeah.
It's ongoing.
If we need to, we will come back to it. So, I liked that song. I'd say that's probably my second favourite of the ones we've heard so far.
Good.
Basketball song, get your head in the game, stick to what you know, whatever else we've heard.
The other ones.
The other ones. The teacher, the drama teacher, and Sharpay and Hats, they start to think that Troy is playing some kind of practical joke by...
Yes, jock trick. Because a jock is very close to a joke, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know you've often been there in Gotham City and you've felt the laugh and you thought the jocker strikes again, and sure, he'll always be around up to an old good.
Yes, and you accidentally put on a joke strap and you're like, oh no, I've put on the wrong thing. So that they set up that.
Mate, yeah, when you wear that, that's a joke strap, so that is, mate, yeah. Put the jock strap back on.
Troy brings Gabriella up to this nice rooftop.
Private garden. Where's he got this fucking Zen space from? Oh my God! You'd be happy during the pandemic to have that bit of space, won't you?
Yes, a bit of open space, a bit of fresh air, a bit of flowers and greenery. Didn't have any of that at our school. Like, the most private place was behind some sheds or something. A kind of grotty little bit in the back. Ugh.
The most private place in my school was a secret computer room that was only accessible by two Taiwanese students. There were two Taiwanese brothers, the older of which was so mathematically impressive that one of the priests gave him access to his computer room. And I got in on that because I knew the younger brother, and that's how Kevin played Chrono Trigger in the year 2000 of our Lord on a PC emulator. So that was the most private place in our school until it was found out. And then one of the scariest moments of my early years in school is that later on that same year, hiding in that computer room, trying to pretend I'm not there, while a bunch of Russian students who had found about this alleged El Dorado secret computer room tried to kick the door down. And they were like, ah! And I was like, you can't even play these games in Russian.
It's a whole other world. This is I'm enjoying every moment of finding out about.
These might not make the episode. These are for you because I know you like the nuggets.
I'm keeping them in. I'm keeping them in. He's up on the rooftop and he's like, look, I'm going to do the callback. I like singing. I want to sing. I'm going to sing with you. I'm going to do it. We get a lovely rehearsal montage of them all singing.
And we get snippets The weird thing about this is we got snippets of the song we were going to hear, but this whole bit was set to like RPG town music. Yeah. So we weren't really sure what was going on.
Yeah.
Blatant favoritism from that songwriter. She's not writing that song having this close a relationship and not thinking it's for them. Also, as well, if you're going back to your callbacks, you'd think the set list for the musical would be set in stone at this point. I think it's crazy.
It's mad, but look, we don't need to get bogged down in those sorts of details, do we?
We did have Chad. He's having an existential crisis because of this feeling that everyone is trying other stuff, as he says, and he hates that.
He hates that. That's bad.
Including this killer line here, Sam. Dig this. The skaters are mingling.
No.
Stick to your own goal. Go fucking skate over there, all right? I'm not going to sing it at you one more time, all right?
Don't let them near the girls who do ballet, because that's, the skater boys.
Wow.
That's
Culture clash.
Because then you're going to get another song coming out, and that's not on the set list.
Nice mall. Shame it's going to get trashed real bad. And an exchange as well here between our baking boy, who is now the best boy because he bakes and has goals in the kitchen. He goes to Sharpay and is kind of like, hey, maybe I can show you me play basketball. I bake. And then she goes, evaporate, tall person. I think I've had that exact exchange.
What's I'm saying, evaporate, tall person?
People are always trying to evaporate the tall, and it's not fucking nice. Like, it's not cool.
Is this the part where Chad, the basketball friend, and Taylor, who's the kind of nerd but also looks like all the other kids and is cool?
The collusion.
There's a collusion. So
collusion.
They're realizing, look, the guy who does basketball, he's getting too distracted by this musical. The girl who does the decathlon, the scholastic decathlon, she's getting too distracted. We've got to fool them somehow into sticking to what they know. We've got to...
The song's extremely non-subtle subtext wasn't good enough. They still won't stick to what they ought to know. And they need to, I quote, save the show from people who don't know the difference between Tony Hawk and a Tony Award. Yes. And that's what it's like when worlds collide.
Yeah. What's their plan here? They sort of... Because it goes from like them plotting to immediately doing it. Where
they're executing the plan.
Yeah.
So the plan is the boys are going to confront Troy. Yeah. And they're like, do you remember the song earlier? Get your head in the game. Boom, 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 boom. Like, yeah, but this is a serious talk instead. So here's a bunch of men who are used to be children like us, and this is what they look like when they were children, and they showed them the pictures of them and go, and they played the very game that you're going to play. This is, I thought, was a very risky play because it's a fine line between school legend and joke. Yeah. You show this kid like a bunch of men in their 40s and pictures of them in their prime, and none of them are pro ball players. 1 and 1 is going to come to 2, and this guy's going to become a full-time lounge singer. You're going to send him running to that musical, all right? Yes. You're going to be like, oh, this guy, he runs the beeper shop downtown, and he was a legend 20 years ago.
Actually, that is a good point, because it's like, one of the key example here is Troy's dad.
Your dad.
I was like, look, your dad went on to be a coach here. Is that a good thing to aspire to be? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being a coach and a teacher. I'm not saying that at all. But
no, but you're not going to stars in your eyes and with this fucking meat and potatoes bollocks, Sam, all right?
No, but part of the plot is they're filming him as he's like, no, guys, I don't feel anything about Gabrielle. What he says something like, I'm focused on the big
musicals.
Game. Yeah.
I got my head in the game. I'm going to stick to what I know. Just fucking like dagger after dagger in the heart of the concept of musical theatre as far as I'm concerned. Now, the nerds have got their own plot at the same time. It's kind of like this, except they do it on a laptop and they're like, as many...
There's so much less detail in their world. Like...
Their world is... Because it goes into eugenics way quicker than you'd think. They're like, look, since the dawning of time, there's been people who are just simply smarter and better and more intelligent. And we have to keep those people... We have to... They're like, look, Gabrielle, we have to keep the bloodline pure is what we're... No, not pure, but, we don't want his genes contaminating or precious bodily... No, not... So they're in a bit of a rut, but they are basically saying dum-dums can never mix with brains.
And then they show her the video of Troy being like, I'm focused on the thing, and she gets upset. But again, this should be far more severe in any other film. This sort of, breaking up of the couple and... Well, they're not a couple, but turning them against each other to save the day should be far more dramatic. She gets a little solo song, which I'm going to say...
Worst song,
least memorable.
Song. This one sucks.
And Troy doesn't know anything's happened, so he's going up like, hey, what's up? How you doing? She's like, I'm not going to the callbacks. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, she's not going to the callback because she just heard herself singing that last one. She's like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not good anymore. It used to be fun, whatever. But guess what? They both have what they know, and they should go and do that instead. Championship game, nerd decathlon, and they've changed the fucking audition callbacks all to be at the same time. Who's scheduling in this school? It's bad.
Yeah, so there's all this kind of Troy and... Is it Gabrielle or Gabriella? Gabriella. They've fallen out, and very quickly, Troy's friends realise the error of their ways, and
it's all too fucking nice.
You don't get any real tension here.
Can I just say, right, as a former educator, right, no child has ever realised the error of their ways.
No, but these children do.
Like, you can force yourself to think they have by inflicting, consequences to their actions.
Yeah.
But we're post-realising error of our ways at this point in time.
He gets a very simple quest of just going to Gabriella's house and singing the song from the start to her and be like, look, I want to sing, I'm telling you how I really feel, and then it's all back to normal, and that plot lasted about 5 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and he also as well did something very old-fashioned. He called her on the telephone to apologise.
Yes.
Which was that is basically unheard of, I think. That was that's a very grown up I know people that when I ring them, they're like, ooh, like I've rung you a few times, and you're like, ooh, if it's in case of a text, I'll give you the call. And it's like, we think this is the problem, you know?
Calls now feel like they carry too much weight to them. Like if I got a
next phone call could be your last, Sam.
Is that a threat?
Just saying,
All right. I'll bear that in mind.
Don't pick up as far as I'm concerned.
As you mentioned, all of the big stuff is happening at the same time. And the titles of the film acknowledge this, which is quite a funny goof. It's like, throughout the film, you've had stuff telling you what day it is or what location we're in. This is like, big game, and decathlon, and callback. Help! Like the little title say,
good.
Yeah, that's fun,
It's a plea for clarity on the schedulers.
Titles have got personality.
Everyone's got personality. Yeah. It's just that the personality is very nice all the time. One last act of sabotage to help stop the steal and get these guys their audition as planned. So the nerds and the jocks are supporting each other now.
Yeah.
Which is very nice.
It's the big day. All the stuff is happening. Like the big game is happening. The decathlon is happening. The callbacks are happening. Like the Sharpay
it's
and
like
brother.
The Godfather. All it happens in the final all at once.
It's all happening simultaneously.
Do you reject Satan and all his empty promises?
Yeah.
Sharpay was there. Fucking hell.
The Miz and his sister are knocking it out of the park here. I really love their...
Bop to the top!
Talented dickhead energy. It's good. Yeah.
It was, as they said, muy caliente.
It was. But in the background, we've got the nerds and the jocks scheming together to save the day. What are they doing, Kevin?
What could they possibly fucking do? Because with zingers like bop, bop, bop straight to the top.
Yeah.
And zip, zap, zop, bop like a mop. What could you do? Well, it turns out the nerds are hacking the mainframe and the fiber optic wire, and it seems they've made some sort of a dirty bomb.
Yeah, so I understand the hacking the electricity and making the screens of the basketball go wrong and hacking the power, and that cancels the basketball game. I don't understand the smelly chemical that they make that cancels the academic decathlon.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, not fair, because if I'm a parent and I've attended my son's basketball game, no, the lights are on and off and I'm gonna have to leave quietly. But if I'm supporting my fucking nerd daughter at the decathlon, I don't want to. I get poisoned. Sorry, you chose wrong on your child's skill tree. You die now. Oh, and them as well. There's the kicker.
It was quite extreme, but it works. You know, our main characters, they get to the callback just in time, and all of the students flood into the theatre with them.
Oh, that's where you get them. That you bring in the fucking, bring in the posse, you know, and that's the thing. If you convince a group of people to come to an event like that, this is like packing. If you're doing stand up and packing out with your mates, like
yes, this is.
You know, that's why those of us who appreciate the craft, we pack it out with our mates who don't happen to find us funny. All right,
Yes,
you win them over, like you know.
That's how you really win a gong show.
Win a gong show.
The students are there, and Troy and Gabriella, they sing their big song.
Soaring, flying, it's anyone can do it. It's honestly, I didn't think very much of the composer at all. Easy. AI generated. That's all that is. You know. They ace the audition.
Yeah,
they do very well.
Yep.
They win the big game as well.
So everything goes fine. Like,
and literally someone shows up and they're like, and the decathlon? Yeah, we won that too.
that happened off screen.
Don't care about that.
We don't have time for that. That probably takes place during a series of webisodes that we don't know about.
Things are looking up. Chad's got a date. He's going out with the girl from the Nerd Squad.
Yeah.
Sharpay gets propositioned again by the non-evaporated tall person.
Yes.
And she's like, no. And then he's like, but I bake cookies. And she's like, no, please respect my distance as an independent character.
Yes.
And everyone's like happy. Like Sharpay doesn't like end up with like a fucking cake on her head going, no. She's like, okay, there's more talent in the pool now, I guess.
I wanted the cake on the head type stuff. I wanted the...
Now, you got chips on the chest for a minute earlier on.
Oh,
but
yes,
this is all very happy-go-lucky. It's all fine.
There's a bit where, when they were doing that Stick to What You Know song, in the hubbub, Sharpay accidentally gets some... But it's like... loaded fries for it. That's such a weird
You shouldn't have that in America at school. It's what they like.
Like, get a milkshake poured on her or something, but like loaded fries to the chest.
If I have an American friend staying around and there's fries going out in the kitchen, I will turn and I'll go, hang on, did you make sure they're loaded? I want them to be comfortable. That's how they have them there. What are these bare potato skins? You know they like them jacked and fully loaded. That's how they do it.
You may as well have just had like a burger land on her foot. Like it's not enough. None of this
you can't do that because then it'd be on those websites there, wouldn't it? Like burgerfoot.com.
Sorry, I shouldn't have brought
that,
foot into it. So everyone's basically happy. Everything's gone well. Everything. I don't even think Troy and Gabriella kiss or anything, do they? There's not.
No, they're just like they're happy.
They did well, and we get we're all in this together. Did you stick around for the post-credits scene?
No, I didn't actually.
It's Sharpay running back in to the evaporated boy and being like, "Your cookies are amazing," and hugging him and. He's like, I'm going to make a creme brulee, and that's the end of the film.
And there you go. I'm going to say, right, this man here may have basically sealed the deal and got into a relationship via baked goods. That's all I'm saying.
No, I'm not.
And I still don't know how to do the creme brulee, like, so, you know, I got to get on that.
Okay.
What happened to you, Sam? You look fucking miserable. What's wrong with you?
I'm trying to think about...
Won the game! Won the fucking high school decathlon! And they all sang, and the play has been cast, the musical that is. What's the problem?
There is no problem. I think that's the problem. It's all fine. Everything's fine.
Are you so jaded, Sam, that pure saccharine happiness doesn't faze you?
Yes, I am. There was an episode that I've not watched of The Twilight Zone where this guy dies and goes to heaven, and I guess this is kind of the plot of The Good Place as well. And everything is fine, and he gets everything he wants, and he goes to the casino and he gambles and he keeps winning. He's winning, and he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm not enjoying this because there's no chance of me losing. I'm just getting everything I want.
But I wished it could be Christmas every day.
I'm actually in hell. And I think with this, there was so little stakes, really, or any kind of rough edges. I know it's a Disney film. It's a Disney Channel movie. That's a feel-good thing.
On brand, Sam.
On brand, sanitized, safe, good.
Here's the thing. Did you laugh during the movie?
Not for reasons they wanted me to.
But was the non-intentional laugh, was it a frequent? Was it a titter here and there? Were you chuckling?
There were a few little laughs here and there, but it wasn't, a raucous comedy. The songs were, if I'm honest, fine. I think we've discussed the ones where I'm like, that's okay. Maybe the basketball one I'd come back to, or...
Which of the songs out of this would you like Weezer to cover the most? In caveat, in Fortnite.
Right. I think all in this together. I don't want them doing the head in the game one. I think that would be bad. Look,
the music didn't affect you.
No.
You didn't enjoy watching the movie. That's okay. It's fine. Honestly, Sam, if you love this movie, like really loved it.
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it would be a bad thing, but I think I've enjoyed it a lot more than you. I think.
Yeah.
Is this just another musical you don't like? Is it musicals? Is that the problem?
No, probably the music was my favourite bit. I think the fact that it is, and the performances are not bad. I know I liked Sharpay and her brother.
Hats.
And, everyone's putting in a good shift here. They're doing what they need to do. But I don't know, maybe there's a bit of 14-year-old Sam being like, fucking hell, come on.
You know what? He was nowhere to be seen during Twilight and Twilight the New Moon. So
they had more to them, those films.
That's the thing, is I thought that cynical side of you was perhaps dead and buried, and yes, this managed to just, you know what? He's been on Pepsi Max so long that sugary movies even will rub up against him in a negative way.
That's a good point. I think I've made an analogy like this before, that certain films are like a steak dinner, certain films like a bag of sweets. This is like a bag of sweets that is not your favourite bag of sweets, but it's just sort of...
What's a bad bag of sweets for you, Sam?
I don't know.
Anything not chocolate for me, I think.
Aldi has got some knockoff Mauams that I really wanted to be nice and they're not. And, just eating loads of the apple ones of that over and over again. It's not bad, and I get what it's meant to be. I'm not in the target demographic for this, and we can't look past that,
Come on then, what is it? Get your head in the game. Give me a star rating here, all right?
High School Musical 1, which is not... No, wait. Sorry, the first High School Musical, which is not in itself a theatrically released film. I'm curious about the other ones, actually, now. It has made me think...
Okay, that's good.
What do they do for number 2 and number 3? Because they've still not put on the actual musicale. Anyway, High School Musical. 2 star wipes.
You heard it here first.